Hello and welcome back to Football Talk with me, Dave, and Josh. Are you there?
Yeah.
He's there. Good to hear. As ever, seem really enthusiastic. That I'm glad you're here. Happy to be back. Are you?
David, loving it.
Yeah.
Transfer window. Yes.
Hell yeah! Everybody loves the transfer window, and of course, we still haven't heard back from Stuart Taylor. So we've just got to put up with me and Josh at the moment. I mean, I haven't asked him. That's probably why he hasn't got back to us. But yeah.
one of the limits. But I mean, he's got a busy schedule. He's doing stuff.
He's got training. He's got training every day of sitting on that bench.
Loves
trying to remember how it happens. Yeah. But right, so starting off as we did last week, I think it was quite a good way to do it. Our week in football. Josh, have you got anything that's happened to you in your week of football?
Kind of taking in football this week. No real actions. It's been transfer window and the start of the kind of pre-season friendlies. So, as a Spurs fan, the transfer window has seen me just refreshing web pages, tapping at F5 to see if something will happen. It hasn't.
I was going to say, your transfer window as a Spurs fan doesn't start for another like five or 6 days, does it?
You wait. It will absolutely take off. And then the other side of it is the pre-season friendlies, and Spurs have played Roma and Barcelona. And so when I woke up, because it's obviously been in my early morning they played, I woke up and I thought it read Spurs 1, Roma 4, and I was like, shows how much I care about pre-season friendlies. I was like, oh god, it doesn't matter. It was a good run out, and I misinterpreted Spurs had won. I was like, well, I can't act like I care now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Fair enough. And how did you get on against Barca? How was Spurs doing against Barca?
We were 2-0 down at half time, then drew, got back to level 2, or then I think the Americans don't like a draw, so they took it to a penalty shootout, and we lost on penalties.
Oh, well, it's a good character to come back from 2-0 down.
Yeah, not bad. Awful goals. But,
right, I
yeah.
haven't seen them. Excellent, good. My week in football. Yeah, what was I up to? So I had a game on Sunday, which we showed good character in. Actually, we went 1-0 up.
Your new shirt, wasn't it? Your new shirt day.
It was. It was my name on the back new shirt day. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I got 90 minutes as well. I played the whole game, which was good. Well, it was good in the sense I played 90 minutes. It was terrible in the fact that it was about 34 degrees and about 80% humidity. But yeah, it was tough to run around in that. But we went 1-0 up and then went 3-1 down and then got it back to 3-3. So it was a good little game, actually. Good little game. Showed very entertaining for the neutrals. And I got an assist, which is always good fun. Long throw, as you expect.
There we go.
Yeah,
right, yeah.
Long throw onto the striker's head, which was great. What else did I do? And then I had a game on Thursday as well, which we only had 11 men, and I picked up a knee injury, so I battled on through, and I'm still struggling with a bit of my knee injury at the moment, so I'm not going to be playing midweek next week, but I will be playing Sunday, I think. So my news for week in football next week will be a bit shorter, because I'm not going to really be playing a game.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's
previously you struggled with a bit of injuries.
Yeah, I've struggled with injuries quite a lot, as Josh, being a good friend of mine, will know. I've had numerous surgeries. I've had 2 on my ankle after I'd had a double dislocation twice, which was interesting. So I've had 2 surgeries on my ankle, 2 surgeries on my left shoulder, and a surgery on my knee as well, all due to various different sports. But yeah, I'm getting over the injuries. I hope, touch wood. To say that I'm getting over them it's a good feeling, and I have major surgeries and come back and carry on playing, even though it's all amateur football. It does feel very, very good, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah,
excellent. But we're going to carry on pretty much into the main bit of the podcast where we left off last time. So last time we covered the 3 of the top 6. We did Arsenal, Chelsea and Liverpool, looking at their transfers ins and outs, and today it's going to be Man City, Man United and Spurs. Josh, do you want to get us underway and start with Man City? What do you think of their transfers?
Manchester City. So, big spenders, the old cash riches. Yeah, they've kind of dampened it down a little bit this year, haven't they? They've just splashed cash on just the one player so far.
Yeah.
Just Riyad Mahrez.
Mahrez.
It seemed like it was like, a couple of years ago they signed Wilfred Boney in January, because I think they must have got an injury to a striker and they signed him, and it was like, it didn't work out, and it has never worked out since, really. And it seemed for me a little bit like that with Riyad Mahrez. I felt like they went from in January in the extra bit of pace on the wing. Yeah. But they've actually followed through. They didn't get him, and they followed through with it in the summer. And I mean, I'm a big fan of Riyad Mahrez. I like him. I liked him before his breakout season with Leicester. I thought he showed some good signs there. Then he had his breakout season, and ever since he's been a good player, but
I find it.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'm the same as you. I think he's a very good player. You can tell he's a good player. Is he Man City standard? I don't really know. And it's sort of like a. I was not expecting this to happen. I thought once it sort of didn't happen in January, that would be the end of it, and he'd go to maybe a team in Liga or maybe like PSG or something like that, which are a good club, but not quite at the standard that you would expect of Man City.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, 60 million is a big lot of intent, isn't it? To say, I guess.
Similar to the way like Liverpool signed Utd and Shaqiri, it's that kind of they want that backup kind of maybe left footed inside right position, but Liverpool have signed. I mean, I think Mara is definitely a step above Shaqiri, but they're not going to be starting players. I wouldn't have thought. I mean, it needs to be that impact player. But Liverpool get theirs for 12, 13 million, and City get theirs for
60.
What?
Yeah.
60.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much of an impact he's going to have at the beginning of the season because he picked up an injury, didn't he, in his first game out in America or wherever they're touring. I think they're touring in America. Yeah, he picked up an ankle injury, so that's not too good. So we don't have. Well, there's no more ins to talk about with Man City, but outs. So Yaya Toure finally been released.
Yeah, he's gone, and I mean, yeah, it's such a weird career was Yaya Toure because I honestly thought when he was at Barcelona, I was like, oh, he's just it's kind of they're kind of for kind of African presence. So they're signing him just to kind of keep the kind of Africa. And I didn't really rate him that highly, and he played all around the pitch because obviously before Barca, he was at Monaco. It was kind of like, oh, he's at Barcelona. It didn't seem like a natural progression.
Yeah, he wasn't a household name, was he? He definitely wasn't a household name. Not like you didn't really know about him before Barcelona.
One season, that 2013-14 season, he just went, right, I'm doing it this year. And he scored 20 goals in the Premier League. It's like, okay, and he was almost unplayable at times.
Yeah, he was a physical beast. He was just incredible.
It did, and then as the season progressed, it seemed like for like half a game he would like literally, you'd almost seem like a kind of heavyweight boxer, kind of like, right, I'm just going to catch my breath again, and then I'll have one burst again. He couldn't keep doing it, and I mean, credit to him, he's what, 35 now, so he was always kind of going into his twilight years at the end of his Man City career. But yeah, he won't be missed now because they should have been adapting. But I think all the time they had him in his books, obviously carrying a big wage and stuff, and financial fair play, they had to stick within the confines of that. So I think they would be looking for another midfielder to come in and take that place.
Yeah, well, obviously they've missed out on Fred, moved to United. We'll get onto that in a minute. And obviously they're after Jorginho, who we've discussed already, and moved to Chelsea. So they clearly are in the market for a centre midfielder. Do you reckon Yaya will go anywhere? Do you reckon we'll see him in the Premiership next season, or do you reckon he'll retire?
If there's a Premier League place for him, the kind of club they are, it's West Ham, isn't it? If there's ever going to be a club for him,
you've got to think it's West Ham. It's like, yeah, Pellegrini. They sort of could do with a big beast in midfield. It just sort of fits. It's just a wages thing, I imagine.
So I'm not sure. I think he'd be inclined probably just to have a bit of an easier run and go to kind of China or something. But West Ham they've signed a lot of players so far, which it can either work really well or really badly because they're either temperamental or they're injury prone, like the Jack Wilsheres, the Yarmolenkos. It can work, or it could just go,
that's sort of
all of them are injured and done.
You could use that sentence to sum up, I think, West Ham's transfer windows for the last 5 years. It's either going to be absolutely amazing or it's going to be terrible.
So other than that, for City, there's again not really many outs. Let's have a look at their side from the start.
Yeah. So, hang on. So an interesting out they have had is Angus Gunn, the goalkeeper, which is very interesting because he's moved to Southampton for £13.5 million.
Spoke about the transfer fee for goalkeepers last week, didn't we? With his name escapes me, from Liverpool to Leicester.
Danny Ward.
And we thought that was a high fee, and we were like, can't be signed for that much money to be backup. But that again is an exorbitant fee for a player who was, I think.
Yeah,
he was down in Norwich, wasn't he?
He was at Norwich. Yeah, it's a huge fee for a young goalkeeper.
It is a huge fee. 22, and Alex McCarthy, I thought, did quite well at the end of the season. So.
Yeah,
clubs like the top level clubs can sell your youth players for a lot because they've sold a few other kind of youth players for millions of pounds, it's impressive, isn't it? Really,
It is.
you
It's
don't have
very
to have
impressive.
much of a club career behind you, but because you've kind of been taken through the Man City academy, as it were, they're kind of like, well, yeah, 10 million. It's like, blimey.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, sorry, before I said that, you were going to go on to the Man City lineup. So do you want to go through that now?
Yeah, so let's start with goalkeepers. So they have Edison and Claudio Bravo and Joe Hart.
Yeah, well, Joe Hart won't be there
He's
much
clearly
longer.
Edison's clearly number one.
Yeah.
Claudio Bravo is probably clearly number two. Joe Hart, I honestly don't know where that man's going to go. I don't know where he can go now.
Uh, yeah, it's so weird because he went to Torino and did okay from all accounts. I don't really know how well he got on, but from all
I think
accounts,
he did a little bit less than okay. I think he
yeah,
was top of the list for like goalkeeping errors leading to goals and very few clean sheets. I mean, last season with
for
Sam,
West
he had
Ham.
as many clean sheets as he did errors leading to goals. I think it
Yeah,
was five apiece.
and he's had a big fall from grace, really, isn't it? Because it's that whole thing with West Ham,
Just
like you say,
yeah,
and then left out of the England team, and it's just no. I don't think anybody's worth taking the risk, really. Not as a first choice
I
keeper.
can't. No, if he gets a first choice keeping role in the Premier League, I'll be absolutely shocked. The
Yeah,
only way he's going to be first, he'll be playing in the Premier League is if he is signed by someone as second choice and someone gets injured. I can't see it happening.
yeah, exactly. I'd agree. I'd definitely
There's not
agree.
many clubs who need a keeper now. Because I was looking at it as well with the fact that Jack Butland's probably needing to move from Stoke. And I'm thinking, there's not many clubs who need a keeper where it would actually be that appealing for him to go to. Because
Yeah,
he's only clubs who would be interested will be relegation fodder. He's not. There's not many clubs who are kind of assured of a Premier League place who actually need a goalkeeper.
it is very very crazy. Like the one thing I thought of because you said obviously Jack Butland is that if Courtois does go from Chelsea, then Butland they might buy Butland and then Joe Hart will go on loan to Stoke in the Championship and be their first choice goalkeeper. But
Yeah.
so sorry, right back to the Man City lineup. You're going through it.
So I mean, Joe Hart, I'd say go abroad or go down league is where it's a crazy to say that he's fall from grace really.
Yeah,
So we then move on to right back. Kyle Walker, obviously signed last year for about a few days the most expensive fullback in the world. And then his backup is Danilo, so I think right back's covered.
yeah,
Left back, you obviously then have, I think is now the most expensive fullback in the world, Benjamin Mendy.
yeah. He is. Yeah,
A bit of a sad season. He's a factory throughout. I think we chatted about last week was a few minutes he'd played and still won a Premier League and a World Cup. And
yeah.
he won't be happy with that, obviously, because he'd want to have played some form of part in it. But he looked very good in his first few games. Puts a lovely ball in. So he's their first choice left back. And then backup left back, they've got a couple of options. Because Fabian Delph obviously covered there last year. Is he now going to be the cover at left back? Because he's obviously traditionally a centre mid.
Mm.
And they have also the young Russian Zinchenko, who can play left back, but again isn't fully a kind of flat back for left back. So they've got some cover there, but it might be whether they'd want to get some orthodox covering at left back.
Yeah,
But there hasn't really been much spoken
you did
about.
see Danilo did play at left back a couple of times as well last season. So
Well, yeah.
they might use him as a cover for both.
Centre back is it's got a lot of good players there, but 100% always 100% fit. So you've got obviously Vincent Kompany, John Stones, Laporte, and Otamendi,
Yeah,
and it probably goes down in that list. So it's probably ranked from best to worst. Really. So Vincent Kompany on his day, fantastic, was one of the best centre backs in the league. Unfortunately, he is pretty injury prone.
Yeah, he's just not fit enough.
John Stones nearly always fit, but I mean, he had a fantastic World Cup and hopefully can develop into that being 100% consistent, but he's kind of 99, 98% consistent. And unfortunately, that 1-2% can cause a goal. And if it's you're one of these top clubs, you can't afford that. But hopefully, he'd get again for England, he'd get his game time and be part of that back four all the time.
Yeah.
Laporte, I've not really seen too much of because he obviously only joined halfway through the season, but cost a lot, young, good on the ball, aggressive. So obviously that is a decent cover.
He came in with some cracking reviews from obviously from La Liga, where Man City signed him from, and it was I didn't see too much of him. I mean, you would imagine they're building towards him and John Stones as the starting centre back, but whether that actually happens in the season, we'll have to find out.
Yeah, and he can also cover at left back. He did a couple of times. I think he played left back in the Liverpool Champions League games, which
Okay.
obviously didn't end too well.
Yeah.
And then you have Otamendi, who is one of the most rash defenders out there, but Seaman was probably played the most amount of games at centre back for City last season. So I have players there, but if you were to start again and give Pep his choice, he probably wouldn't take any of them.
Well, yeah, he bought Laporte in, didn't he? So he's obviously
maybe the only one, but
yeah,
whether he wouldn't choose him as a starting one. But yeah,
that's true. Yeah, midfield.
So then you have that kind of anchor, that Fernandinho role, who is not getting any younger.
Yeah.
And now I've earmarked here that I suppose the other player who could play that is Fabian Delph, but it's whether they want to go for a long-term, full-on replacement for Fernandinho there, and maybe where we see that, because obviously Yaya used to play a bit more defensive sometimes when they bring De Jong on. So Yaya had a kind of previous exposure as that role and could have filled in there. But I think they'd need to get something long term in that role. But I'm not sure Delph would be it personally. I think Delph is there because he's a good English player. They need English players for the homegrown rule.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're lacking that holding midfield position. Seems to be the only real problematic position you can see in their squad. I don't know. I'm trying to think if we're missing someone obvious, but I don't think we are. Because the problem they have is that Fernandinho has been superb in that role since they've had him, and it's replacing a guy like that. Like, how do you do it? Yeah, do you try and nurture a youngster through and try and be like, this is, you've got to watch this guy play, look what he does, we just want you to do that? Or do you just go and spend money, or give it to Fabian Delph, which I sort of agree with you. He's a good English player. I don't necessarily think he's actually going to play that much for Man City this year.
He's a squad player, isn't he?
Exactly.
And so then in the head of it, they normally play with 2 number 10s. So they normally play De Bruyne and David Silva. And you obviously got Gundogan as well, who can play a little deeper, but I think is more box to box. And I've never been that impressed with Gundogan. I've not.
Yeah.
What people see, I think he's on a kind of Delph level. He's a clear step down. He's all right, but I'm not overly enamoured by him.
It's a weird one because he's. I quite like him as a footballer. I think Gundogan is hard. He's hard working. He's a bit less flair and a bit more workmanship sort of thing. But he's not a holding midfielder where those sort of characteristics come into play. And if David Silva gets injured, he's not a like-for-like replacement, which means the system has to change. Or he's not going to be as good as David Silva in that position. So yeah, I agree. It's an interesting one. I can't understand why they bought him in the first place. I'm not 100% sure.
Especially as it's taken a lot of time with all the injuries he's had. I think it was a little bit cut price because of that, but he's all right. He's decent enough, and you can't spend too much money these days. You can't just go out and buy, or what they have done. If you can get a deal on your hands, you take the deal, don't you?
Yeah, very true.
So, but you said about David Silva replacement. I've kind of earmarked Bernardo Silva here as a kind of winger replacement, but I think he is probably as close as it comes to a David Silva replacement.
Yeah, I think long term.
I really like Bernardo Silva.
I really like the look of him as well. One day we're gonna have a podcast about things that we disagree on.
Well, we have always talked about the
Ronaldo.
Yeah. That is a disagreement we have.
One day.
Yeah.
So wingers then? We've said.
Yeah. So the wingers, obviously, they're starting 3. You can swap out your strikers depending on, but it's Raheem Sterling and Sane on the wings, and then Aguero/Jesus up front, isn't it? And so if we put Bernardo Silva in the backup wingers, we've got backup wingers of Mahrez and Bernardo Silva, which those 6 players is pretty damn impressive, isn't it, really?
That is very impressive. If you think you can have a front 3 of Sterling, Jesus and Sane, and if they all got injured, you'd still have a front 3 of Mahrez, Aguero, and Bernardo Silva. That's pretty damn frightening.
Yeah, it is impressive. So they're covered up there, but personally, I don't fully with Jesus or Aguero. I feel like they're goal scorers. They're not. I like rounded player, but they're fantastic goal scorers, aren't they?
They are. They really are, and I think that's what Pep just wants, really. I think he wants it so the case that let the midfield do all the work and then have a goal scorer that can just put the ball in the back of the net. And if they don't, then one of the wingers will put it in the back of the net anyway, as we saw with Sterling last year. So it's interesting. Do you think Sterling's position was ever under threat by the signing of Mahrez, that he might take him over, or Bernardo Silva? Or do you think Sterling's a nailed-on Pep favourite for a starting role?
I don't think he's nailed on. I think Pep wanted was a bit extra pace in there.
Extra pace.
Backup pace. So like,
backup pace, yeah.
Without having Sterling inside, he wants pace on both wings. So he got Sterling and Sane, but before that they didn't really have the pace to bring on. So Bernardo Silva wasn't really pace. You mix things up and put Gundogan on and stuff. It didn't really have that pace to bring in. So having Mahrez, who's kind of direct, not explosively quick. I think he's good off the first few paces. He'll get away from a player. I think he's much more of a threat to Sterling's position than it was last year. Hopefully, Sterling recognises it and pushes on again and kicks on another gear. So
yeah,
I don't think you should ever be afraid of competition, especially at the top level. Hopefully, he'll thrive by it.
Yeah, I very much agree and hope that is the case for England. In the sense of that. Anything else you want to discuss about Man City before we move on to the other half?
We did the other side, their second 11, is it? Show the squad depth. So, how's this for a second 11? It has some weaknesses, but I think it's probably the best we've had so far. So, we have Claudio Bravo in goal, Danilo at right back, Zinchenko at left back, Laporte, Otamendi at centre back, Delph, Gundogan. I had to put Phil Foden in midfield. Bernardo Silva, Riyad Mahrez, and Jesus up front.
That could probably win the league. It would be very close. It could be up there to winning the league. That 11.
Defensively, it's all over the shop, though, isn't it?
Yeah. And Claudio Bravo has shown that he's not the best goalkeeper.
Yeah.
In the world, when
it does get progressively better as you go up the pitch. So. Having Bernardo Silva, Riyad Mahrez, Jesus, Gundogan, a decent deputy, and those four there.
Yeah.
Better than the other 7, I suppose. But it's a lot better than having kind of like Danny Drinkwater in there, isn't it? So.
Yeah, it is much better than that. Okay, cool. So
right, should we go to the red side of Manchester?
Yeah, if we have to. Yeah, let's go into it. I don't know where to start. So why don't you start?
Saying is that it seems like it's deja vu with Jose Mourinho.
I was like, who would have seen it coming?
Yeah, so talking about how I've been kind of watching the pre-season go through, and my goodness, just Jose Mourinho just needs to lighten up. He's so dour, and it's all the whole world's against him, and it's all got tits up for him at United in his mind. It hasn't done yet, but the way he's talking, he's like, the players I've got here aren't my players. Sanchez is doing it on his own. They're all kids. It's like, oh, come on, man, lighten up.
It's just like, it's incredible when you see, I mean, we'll get to the transfers in a minute, but it's incredible when you see Jose Mourinho compared to like Klopp and Pep and Pochettino in the pre-season interviews and stuff like that. Pochettino, Klep, that's a combination of Klopp and Pep. Klopp, Pep, and Pochettino. They've all got like a smile on their face, saying, "Yeah, it's a great experience for the kids. We'll give them a game, and we don't have all of our players, but it's pre-season. Let's go out there." And then you got Mourinho who comes out with a soundbite that's like, "If I was a fan, I wouldn't pay to come and see this game." It's like, oh my god, just cheer up, you miserable, and I will bleep that out. Yeah, he's doing my head in. Yeah. I want him out. I want him gone. And I think he is masterminding his own downfall. And I don't blame Ed Woodward for not giving him any money. Ed Woodward's getting a lot of flack in this window, and I don't blame him, because I wouldn't give Mourinho any more money. Like, he's asking money for another centre back. Why do you need money for another centre back? He's already gone and bought Bailey and Lindelof for a combined like 70 million.
Because he's still got Smones. That's another portmanteau. Yeah, Smalling and Jones. And Jones are still at your club, man. How is that possible?
I don't know.
Money, because all he's going to do is spend it on a 29-year-old who the next manager is going to go, yeah, they're past it now, and we can't resell them. Let's look at your squad.
Yeah.
let's look at this squad.
Do you look at the squad or should we go transfers first?
Go through ins. Yeah, go have a look at your.
Go ins. Okay. Lee Grant.
Yes, that's a big move. Big move of the year.
Oh, this is. I can actually understand this one because at least Mourinho has explained why Lee Grant's in. Basically, he's brought Lee Grant in so that Joel Pereira can go out on loan and have first team football. And Lee Grant is studying for his coaching badges, and basically he's going to be coaching our young goalkeepers in like the under 18s and the under 16s and the under 17s. So I can sort of understand it. I mean, I wouldn't have paid like $2 million for him or whatever it was we paid. I would have just asked. I would have just said, "All right, Stoke, do you want to just give us Lee Grant?" And they probably would have gone, "Yeah." They probably would have gone, "Yeah, all right, we're not playing him." So, but yeah, I don't. Yeah, I can understand the logic behind it. That's okay. Fred from Shakhtar, looks decent. We've signed a player that's injured, which is always a bit of a concern.
Yes.
But I again don't know too much about him. Shakhtar is a bit of an odd system. It's like they dominate the league most seasons. They have one big rival in Dynamo Kiev, and one of those two always win the league. So you're sort of judging on Champions League performances. I'm pretty sure Mourinho signed Fred, or Man United have signed Fred, because Man City wanted him. Like, we need a central midfielder. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a good player and a good position to buy. But I honestly think if Man City weren't going for him, Mourinho would have gone and bought someone else.
You not say exactly the same for Alexis Sanchez as well.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't want Sanchez either.
It's transfer policy now.
See who Man City are scouting and then try and just pay a bit more money.
No, you're not having him. Oh, mate, it's like a toddler.
Yeah, it's probably what happened with Lee Grant. Pep leaked a fax or a memo or something to Mourinho's secretary. Oh yeah, we're going after Lee Grant. No, we'll have him, $1.5 million. And then young fullback Diogo. Sorry, it's not Diego. Diogo Dalot, whose full name is actually Jose Diogo Dalot Texeria, as it says on the screen in front of me, which is a mouthful. From FC Porto. We need a fullback for both sides, and I'm hoping he can be pretty good. I've never even seen him play. No idea.
I don't. Yeah. Again, I think it's. But we'll go on to the squad overall. A little bit, and then your outs.
Outs. Daley Blind to Ajax. I mean, credit to Ed Woodward, how he's managed to get 14 million for Daley Blind is impressive. A good player, good utility player. Nowhere near the standard for a team that wants to challenge for the Premier League anymore. I quite liked him this first season, but sorry.
With Daley Blind, I'm a big fan of Daley Blind. I loved him. He was technically gifted, and he, although short and slow, I never saw him really get exposed as centre back. And I think that's credit to him. I think there's a footballing brain, and technically he's fantastic. So if you look at a football manager, mentality great, technically great. It's just physically, he's never really had a position in a Premier League where he would be physically okay, and it's a shame because I thought he was a really good player.
Yes, it was John O'Shea syndrome, isn't it? Like if John O'Shea had a slightly bigger build on his frame, he'd be a good centre back. If he was slightly thinner, quicker,
hold on there, mate.
Hang on, if it was like when he was a youngster, he was looking like he was going to be a good player. And then if John O'Shea was maybe had a slightly slower centre of gravity and a bit faster, he would have been a great fullback. But what happened is he was a sort of mix of everything, and he got moved from centre mid to centre back to left back to right back, and he didn't have a place. And that's just what Daley Blind was like. He just didn't have a home, a position he could call home. And he's moved back to Ajax, which should, in theory, work out well for everybody. We got a lot of money. Ajax get an ex-player back. And
I just feel like I need to comment here on John O'Shea.
Yeah.
He threw a few greats around there, and I mean, I'd love some Sunderland fans to get in touch because maybe they cared fondly for him, but that man was just shit overall.
When he was at United as a youngster, he looked very promising. He looked very, very
Two
promising.
good things John O'Shea's done. One, he nutmegged Luis Figo.
Yeah.
And two, was that goal against Arsenal where he chipped over left foot chip. That, fantastic. There's also, I feel like I need to direct people to search John O'Shea shot versus West Ham, which is one of the worst shots I've ever seen a professional footballer have. And he's just, again, physically, he was all over the shop. He just seemed like the kid at school who couldn't play sports, didn't really know how to kick a ball. It was like,
oh, bloody! I'll tell you what.
He made a full career out of it.
if you can find me the clip on YouTube of that John O'Shea shot, I'll put it in the description so that people can just click on it and go and look at it straight away. Because I know which one you're talking of. It is hilarious. So, okay, other outs?
Real major out. You sold Sam Johnston, didn't you? To make room for Lee Grant.
yeah. But it's an overall profit. Overall, 6.5 million we got for Sam Johnston. So, yeah, we're making the
obviously
dollar.
Michael Carrick retired.
Carrick retired, which was, we all knew that was coming, and now he's the coach at the club now, which is good. I was a big fan of Michael Carrick. Always liked him. Always liked him as a player. And a little fact for you: Michael Carrick's dad hit on my mum when she was at Old Trafford. Does not hit my mum.
Nice.
He made a pass at my mum. Yeah. To try and get her out for dinner. She said no. Luckily.
Sport. That would have been what facts he could have given after.
We actually had a fourth out as well. Dean Henderson has moved to Sheffield United on a permanent deal. I'm pretty sure he was there on loan.
Dean Henderson is.
He's another goalkeeper. So, yeah, we brought Lee Grant in to coach all these young goalkeepers, and then we just sell 2 of them. So, wonderful.
And Pereira's going to go. Oh no, Pereira's on midfield, isn't he? Yeah. No, goalkeeper. Yeah.
Joel Pereira, yeah. But anyway, onto the squad then. And you wanted to have a little chat. I had my anti-Mourinho rant at the beginning of the Man United bit, so try not to get me too riled up.
Okay, so goalkeepers. We are covered, aren't we? David De Gea.
Yeah.
In between the sticks after his fantastic World Cup, coming back form and morale high.
I don't mind that because
Premier League's best goalkeeper.
Yeah, and Real Madrid would have seen that World Cup and thought, we'll have Courtois. And I was like, I'm happy with that. That's fine.
I'm still impressed by the fact that you actually did manage to shut Real Madrid down and keep David De Gea happy, because obviously Spurs tried to do Modric when he lasted a season and he went there, but you managed to actually completely nullify it, and David De Gea seems all right with it.
Yeah, he seems pretty happy at the moment. Let's see what happens.
Obviously, then you have second choice Sergio Romero and third choice Lee Grant. I think you're pretty well covered. That's textbook. That is a textbook choice of 3 goalkeepers there. You've got your world class one, you've got your old English one, and then you've got your kind of all right second choice one who's been around the block a bit. That is textbook.
Yeah, it really is.
Ones. We obviously saw Rob Green go to Chelsea during the week.
What was that about? What on earth was that about? That is so bizarre.
The old English. You've got to get your homegrown in there by your old English third choice goalkeeper, haven't you? Right back, we obviously have the former winger, former leg broken Antonio Valencia.
Yeah. Solid. Have you seen Mourinho's comments on him today? He's fat and overweight and taking too long on holiday. That's what Mourinho's been saying. Yeah.
He's been a bit thick, hasn't he, Valencia? He's been a bit like kind of he's got some girth to him.
Yeah. So interesting.
I mean, and you obviously got Diogo Dalot backing him up. Left back.
Yeah.
Luke Shaw left back.
Well, it's a bit of a problem position, isn't it? I still think Ashley Young will be starting as left back at the season.
Hopefully, the fact that Ashley Young may have an extended break and get back a little bit late for that, he might go, right, Luke Shaw, you start the first game. Is it Leicester on Friday night, isn't it?
Yeah, Leicester Friday night, yeah.
Luke Shaw.
That would be the thing that would make sense to do, is start Luke Shaw. If we haven't sold Matteo Darmian by then, it wouldn't be surprised if he plays Darmian. Because he just, for some reason,
Darmian's gone, isn't
Luke
he?
Shaw. No, well, he's not yet, but you've got to remember that the European window stays open later than ours. They have another 2 weeks, so if he's at the club,
he's
still, he's another one. He's like the Simones, as you said. Like how he's still at the club, I don't know. He's never impressed me, Darmian. He's always looked dodgy.
You might start the season with Darmian, Ashley Young, Chris Smalling, and Phil Jones as your back four. That'd be amazing. Lee Grant in goal.
Lee Grant in goal. Oh my god, that would be horrendous. That would be horrendous. Right, I'm conscious of the time. Let's carry on going.
Timothy Fosu-Mensah. I like him. And is he ever going to get to play again in a United shirt?
Not under Mourinho. Probably not.
So centre backs. Obviously, we've covered all of them, apart from Marcus Rojo. So you have Eric Bailly, Chris Smalling, Victor Lindelof, Phil Jones, and Marcus Rojo.
Yeah. Covered.
Covered for there's enough numbers, yeah, but
Yeah. Well, I like Eric Bailly is I think a very good centre back. He was fine last year. Has the odd brain fart, a bit like you said with John Stones. 90% of the time he's all there and he's playing well. He occasionally has those slip ups. Victor Lindelof, I think, was given a hard time. I think he's a good ball playing defender, and I'd like to see him and Bailey or Bailey, however you pronounce it, Eric Bailly, to be given a good run as a centre back partnership, and then Jones can be taken out the back and sent to the Rainbow Farm, and Smalling is decent cover. Smalling's one of them.
Jones, do you?
What I think they're both as good and bad as each other. Smalling can control a back line slightly better than Jones, because I think people just laugh at Phil Jones whenever he tries to speak because they just look at his face and he's pulling some sort of stupid face. But I would keep Smalling over Jones because Smalling's he has less problems with injuries, although saying that I think he's currently injured at the moment. And from what I've experienced watching games and watching Man United as much as I have done, he can control the back line slightly better than Phil Jones does. So, but like you said before, neither of them should really be at the club. How they're still there, I don't know. But
so you got bodies, but I don't think any of the other 5 top 6 sides would take your centre backs. So in midfield, you have I'd say the defensive aspect of it. You've probably got Matic. Is Fred going to slot in there maybe as cover and McTominay? Is that what you'd say?
Yeah, I think if it was about 2 or 3 years ago, you'd say Fellaini as well. But we know that Mourinho now likes him as a plan B up front. So yeah, I'd probably agree with that. Matic, McTominay, and Fred is more than likely going to slip into that position. And a Herrera is sometimes covered for Matic as well. So
he's just missing the start of the season now with have abdominal surgery, didn't he?
Yeah, that's a bit of a kicker because he was. I think he played nearly every single game last season for us, and he was brilliant. He was probably one Mourinho signing that's actually worked.
We obviously have Herrera, we have Fellaini. You mentioned Fellaini. So he is a kind of backup striker for you now. He's not. His midfield days are over, are they?
I don't see another way. Mourinho brings him on in 2 situations, doesn't he? He brings him on if he needs a goal and shoves him up front, or he brings him on if we're 1-0 up and we're holding on to a win, and he brings him on basically to defend set pieces and elbow people and give away fouls to break up their play. And I'm not confident in us leading that many games this year. And I think Man United are going to have a pretty poor season this year. And I think Fellaini will be used more as a target man, plan B target man striker. So I wouldn't class him. If anything, I'd class him as attacking midfield striker this season. Which is
you have
heartbreaking
Paul Pogba.
To say that. Yeah.
You have Paul Pogba and Juan Mata into that kind of central attacking midfield roles.
Yeah,
got a lot of variability there where you can kind of do things, but some decent enough players. Wide attacking players, it's a bit. They all want to play down the left. You've got nobody who wants to play on the right.
That's the thing. We've got some good quality, but they all want to play in exactly the same position and do exactly the same thing. They all want to play on the left and cut in onto their right foot. That's what they all want to do. And it's hard. I'm getting wound up now. I'm getting really wound up about the situation that United are in. I mean, that's just
Anthony Martial is on his way out for me.
Yeah, and I want him to stay. He's going to be a fantastic, unless it's his attitude, which I can't imagine he has a bad attitude to football in general. I think he has a bad attitude towards Jose Mourinho, which is totally understandable. I mean, how can you kick off at someone for wanting to go back to be there for the birth of their second child? But it's like I don't know what's going on with the winger situation. I can't even get a judge of like who likes Mourinho and who doesn't. Because I would have said Sanchez likes Mourinho, but I don't think he does.
No.
I don't know.
So if you've got Sanchez, Martial and Rashford on the left, no one on the right, that pretty much just leaves you with Marcus Rashford, Romelu Lukaku as your man up front, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is. And it's... it's a massive concern I think towards the back end of last year, when Lukaku got a few little niggles and had to be rested for a few games, and Rashford went up top, we looked less proficient up front. We looked less dangerous, and I think that was a big problem. And I think the same will happen again this year. And I think, yeah, it's just a weird situation where, you know, Lukaku didn't have the best of World Cups, but he played better for Belgium than he probably has done for United. And the same can be said of Pogba. He didn't have an amazing World Cup, but he had a good World Cup, and he influenced France's play. And it's just like, surely that's got to prove that it's Mourinho who's not letting these people play as they want to play. They don't. He's just not negating. He's destroying all their freedom and their confidence of what they actually want to do with football. And that's exactly what I think is happening with Martial and Rashford as well, when they're both on the left-hand side trying to get in each other's way.
So you need to sign some players. You've got 11 days to do it. You got a winger and a forward, is it? A centre back? I mean, you've been linked with Toby Alderweireld for most of the summer. Is that? It seems like it's a.
I don't know. I can understand getting a centre back, but if we're getting a centre back, like we've been through how many bodies we've got back there, we have to get rid of someone. We have to sell someone else in that centre back position, because you can't have, like, if let's say it's Alderweireld or even Maguire comes in, you cannot have 5 senior centre backs for 2 positions. It just doesn't work. So you have to sell someone. I think a backup striker to Lukaku, but then you're in the problem of whoever you sign or whoever you go for knows they're going to be a backup striker, and do you really want to move to a club and be a backup striker? And then you sort of look at it and you think, we really need a right winger, but we probably don't actually need a right winger if we could just convince one of the wingers to play on the right and do it well. But I don't know. It's, as I said, I'm not confident about United this year. I think if Mourinho's there up until Christmas, it will be because basically something like Man City and Liverpool smash everybody they play, and we're sort of hovering around 3rd or 4th by default.
Pretty negative.
I'm depressing myself right now. Yeah.
Pretty negative.
But what do you think? You're an outsider. What do you think we need to buy?
I think you overachieved last year. I think defensively you're saved by David De Gea. He gets far too much to do for a top side, faces far too many shots.
Yeah.
I think
while you say that on De Gea, I'm just going to go back to that point that you said, he's coming back from the World Cup in, shit form, shit morale. If that carries on and he doesn't save us as many points as he did last year, we could be royally
if he performs as a human rather than superhuman, it's not going to be great. It's going to be, but and I do feel you just got that imbalance to your side that you do need someone on the right. You do need to, and like signing Alexis Sanchez last year, I still can't understand it, and I just don't like the way you play under Mourinho. I don't like it. It's just so negative. It's just so, it is effective, but it's just not nice. And
it's.
I don't enjoy it. I used to love watching United.
You don't enjoy it. Imagine how I feel when I'm watching it. Like, at least I'm now the other side of the country. So if a game looks like it's dreadful with boring football, I can just turn it off and go to bed. Other side of the world, obviously, not country. Other side of the world. Yeah. But so okay. I think
you may have an interesting last 11 days, but let's hope for your sake you do, and well, for my sake you don't, because I think we'll move on to Spurs now. I think it may be one of our players that you would pinch.
Okay, so go on then. From my outlook as a United fan and how depressed I felt, how are you feeling about Spurs and their transfers? Yeah, I've just clicked onto the Sky Sports transfer thing. Tottenham Hotspur. No Tottenham Hotspur transfers in the current window.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So, that covers the ins.
Yeah.
The outs consist of us selling a couple of youth players. So it's no real movement to talk about as yet. We're trying to. A lot of players are on the kind of unwanted list. So there's unwanted, and then players who just want out. I suppose there's Vincent Janssen, who is on both those lists. We don't want him.
Yeah.
But Christ, if we're going to get anyone to buy him.
In chats with Fenerbahce for a loan.
Yeah, Fenerbahce. Always, every signing that Fenerbahce make is kind of like, you think, it's a typical Fenerbahce signing. We're just just
Van
ridiculous
Persie,
players.
Soldado. Yeah.
Fernando Llorente, well, he promised. I think as Spurs fans, when we signed him, like right, finally we've got back a goal scorer who can back up Kane. He's going to be all right, but he's looked a bit leggy. He looked a little bit off the pace. And you never know. And so I think if we got a decent offer for him, we'd see him go.
Okay.
And Kudu we normally sign a French winger every year, an unknown French winger every year. Clinton and G, George Kevin and Kudu. We normally sign that and then flog them a year later.
Yeah.
As a decent pre-season, but I think that's just all it's doing is getting him out in the market. He was signed on loan by Burnley for the second half of last season. Really didn't do much. Had very little impact.
Hardly played, did he? He didn't really. I can't remember him doing anything. Did he score one goal? I think in the cup, but yeah, it was
past me by. So, Musa Sissoko, I think. Seemingly, all for Spurs fan would like to back him because he's just a technical black hole. It's like you pass the ball to him and a move will break down. It's just
that was a really
he gets around the
transfer. Pit. That was when you bought him. That was really weird.
$2 million, cracking. Yeah. But he is trusted by Pochettino. He played a lot of games. He's on there, but I'd like us to put a bit of faith in our youth now. And Joshua Onimo was on loan at Aston Villa last season, a decent enough season. I think just put your trust in him. It can't be any worse, and he's got a higher ceiling than Sissoko has. So,
okay,
Sissoko personally.
So what, is there just talking about youngsters? Is there anybody in a youngster sort of category who you know at the club, like that could just be on the bench to support Harry Kane?
Guys, we've got not really. A lot of talk around a couple of youth players, but there's no one who's at that age. I mean, I think Keziah Sterling is probably the oldest out of our youth forwards who would want to. Pochettino's shown some faith in, but it's not really going to happen. I think we need to sign someone to be an adequate backup there.
Yeah,
my thoughts are.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Moussa Dembele is another potential out because I think he's really feeling it now, feeling the pinch, and so I think he wants to have that one last contract before he bows out, and I think he'd be wanting to move this summer, and I can't blame him. He's given us good service, but you can tell that he definitely can't give 100% all season. He can give 100% for about 10 games a season, 70% for about another 10 games, and the rest of it, he will probably be missing injured. So,
yeah, okay. I mean, he didn't have as much of a impactful season last year as he had done previously, like you say, and I think it's you couldn't begrudge him a move away. He's definitely done well for you while he's been there.
Yeah, so if we go on to our, they're kind of the players I think are going to be out, and the other out, some other rumours around Toby Alderweireld and Danny Rose. Danny Rose ones have calmed down. But Toby Alderweireld's have really dragged on, and it seems to be it's United, and it's just a matter of time until that's agreed. But I still hold out a little bit of hope that we'd keep hold of him.
I think that'll be the deadline day deal. I think that United, unless something happens with Maguire, which I can't see it happening for United, I think United signing Alderweireld will be deadline day, and will pay a absolute load of money.
Him for less than 60 million, personally.
Yeah. Well, he's a very good centre back, so. But yeah,
he's fantastic. But the thing is, he's 29 and he's had a couple of injury-prone seasons, and so I think it could turn out to be absolutely stellar business from Spurs if that was to happen. He was to get crocked, or it could turn out to be absolutely stellar business from United because he has 2-3 fantastic seasons and is an absolute rock for you. But yeah, the jury is out.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so what do you think about like rumours and stuff that you've been rumoured to buy? So Jack Grealish, he's been a pretty common name mentioned with Spurs, and then you got Nabil Fekir after it broke down with Liverpool. You've been mentioned that you might be in for him.
Yeah, and Mateo Kovacic for Real Madrid as a kind of Dembele replacement. Jack Grealish is in there to add a bit of light replacement with Sissoko, but a kind of central attacking midfielder, but also adding that homegrown side of things because we struggle a bit on homegrown for the Champions League.
Okay.
Because Ben Davies is considered Welsh, and obviously Eric Dyer is Portuguese in that sense. So we couldn't name like Eric Lamela and Danny Rose. I think missed out for the first half of the season from our Champions League squad. So we do need to get a couple of homegrown players in, which is
Okay.
why the main player I'd like to sign this summer is Wilfried Zaha.
Yeah, I've seen you
That
on
is who.
I've seen you on Twitter going a bit. You've been very much peddling the Zaha notion on Twitter.
Oh,
You're a big fan.
yeah. Oh, I love him. Absolutely love him. He's. It saddens me that he doesn't play for England. We really missed the. If you imagine if he had been in that England side this World Cup, it would have had a completely different dimension. We treated him poorly in the youth teams, and he went to play for Cote d'Ivoire. But
Yeah. Yeah,
he's so
it's like
strong. He's such a good dribbler. The last 2 seasons have been breakout for him. He pretty much single-handedly saved Palace from relegation last year. He's immense.
he did. Does his history at United and his experience at United not put you off, or do you think that was allow him to grow into the player he is now, and he'll be better to go to a bigger club now?
Signed by Ferguson, managed by Moyes, wasn't it? And it was a difficult
Yeah.
season for Moyes. He was a younger player. What's that going to be, about 5 years ago now?
Yeah, it was a long time ago now. Yeah, pushing 5 years. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I mean, it'd have been early 20s, and I think it helps him now. I think that it's given him a taste for it, and that failure has given him that kind of lead now. And I think he owes it to himself to get away from Palace and sign for a Champions League club. I
Yeah.
think he needs to play at the top. He's far too good for Palace. He's probably too good for Tottenham, really, because he has the potential to be a world class player. And he needs to just play it on the top level. Because I just think about him, if he was Champions League matches and we're under a cosh, is that one player, that Gareth Bale type player, where you can leave him on your own and he can skin 2 players and score a goal. He can do something out of nothing, and that is exactly what we need.
Okay, interesting. Has there been many official transfer rumours about him to Spurs or anything like that, or is it just
There's
you?
definitely been.
Is it you trying to push it on Twitter?
Yeah, I've not been peddling that solely. So yeah, there's definitely been some talk around that. Hopefully it materialises quite quickly, because obviously we would leave a hole to fill in a very little time to fill it. So they're never going to get someone in the quality of Zaha, but I don't even know who they get in full stop, really.
Yeah, fair enough. So, any other rumours that you've been linked with that you know of?
The other is that kind of central midfield, that Dembele replacement. So I mentioned earlier, Kovacic is that kind of that player able to break through the lines, that can dribble through but also tackle. So him and Tanguy and Ndombele, the Lyon centre mid from last season.
Yeah.
He again is able to dribble through, and I think we were linked with him, maybe just paper talk, because they see Dembele out, see that he's a very good dribbler of the ball, and they've been linked. But I'd be very happy with either personally. But we do need to get a central midfielder.
Okay, fair enough. Do you want to go through the Spurs team, according that nothing's actually changed
Spurs?
at the moment, or
No? So obviously we have Hugo as our number 1, Michel Vorm as our number 2, then Gazaniga as our
number 3? Yeah.
Yeah, that's again pretty textbook as goalkeepers. Right back we have Serge Aurier and Kieran Trippier. Kieran Trippier is actually coming off the back of a fantastic World Cup. And Serge Aurier signed from PSG last year. Didn't have the greatest of debut seasons. A few penalties, given away a red card, and a few mistakes. I think a full pre-season with us, and hopefully kick on. He's had a decent few games so far, so he's obviously going to get his chance with Trippier having a long World Cup. So hopefully he can push on and be the player we hoped would be the kind of Kyle Walker Mark II. But
okay,
the right back.
Just so while you're talking about right backs, what about, because is it Kyle Walker Peters? Is that his name?
Yeah, I love Kyle Walker Peters.
Yeah,
I think Kyle Walker Peters would really benefit from a Premier League loan this year. Okay. He played a little bit of a left back for us a couple of times, a few cut games. I think he needs to get a full season under his belt, and I think he could definitely do a job at fullback for a promoted side.
Interesting. I remember him playing. I was being quite impressed. I thought I'd just quickly ask you your opinion while we're talking about right backs and full backs. But anyway,
at times last season, I was thinking, why did we sign Serge Aurier? I don't think Kyle Walker Peters would have done any worse than him.
Yeah,
and obviously being a homegrown product would have been a bit more sympathetic from the fans for any performances. Left back, we obviously currently have Danny Rose and Ben Davies. Ben Davies played a lot more last season and matured into a very good player. Still a little bit of step down from Danny Rose attackingly, I think, but still is a very good player and can play dropping at centre back as well. But Danny Rose is the one where obviously a lot of talk. He moved to United, had his injury, spoke out in the media, and tried to fashion a move, but he hasn't really produced consistently since then. So I think the talk's kind of gone away really. And the last transfer I heard him linked with was a kind of move to Everton, which is not a step up. So I think he'll be staying now.
Yeah, I can imagine he'll be staying. Yeah, I don't think he'll be going anywhere. And it's two good left backs to have, isn't it? Rose and Davies. It's two good quality options.
And the way we've Potter's always run it is kind of rotated fullbacks because he asks a lot of them getting forward. So they do play kind of 20 games a season each, 30 games a season each. So you kind of keep both of them happy, hopefully. Yeah. Unless obviously you miss out on a Champions League match and come back for a League Cup match, it doesn't keep you as happy. But
yeah.
Centre backs, we obviously have the aforementioned Toby Alderweireld and his partner in crime Jan Vertonghen. That would be the dream to keep both of those. And then you've got Davinson Sanchez signed last season for our record signing, who had a standout season, was very good. It's just whether we keep Toby. If we don't keep Toby, we need to invest in. Do we need to invest in a world-class centre back?
Yeah, it's.
You've got three top level centre backs. You want Davinson to get more and more game time with Jan Vertonghen. Have one of them get injured, you step down to having youth players. You have Juan Foyth, the Argentine centre back, or Cameron Carter-Vickers. They're not. That's a big step down. It's a difficult one who you sign in that position then.
Yeah, it is. It's a similar sort of thing to the what I was saying about Lukaku at United, isn't it? How it must be so hard as a football club to convince a centre back to move to be a backup centre back.
You know it, and you've got to try and convince them that it's worth their maybe a season of their career, 2 seasons of their career to be playing on. What if he gets injured? What if he's suspended and I have a good run? It's difficult to convince them.
Yeah. Okay, moving up the team.
Up the team, we have defensive midfielders, which links into our kind of our centre back talk. You also have Eric Dyer who can play at centre back as well. So whether you'd sign a full-on world-class centre-back, I don't think you would. But you have Eric Dyer and Victor Wanyama as your defensive midfielders. Both are good. Both have had poor. Come off the back of Wanyama had a poor disrupted season with injury, but had a really good standout first season. He's just gone home from the tour injured again, recurrence of his knee injury. So you kind of are you going to be able to play?
Yeah, that's a shame because, like you say, his first season was incredible. Wanyama. He burst like when you signed him from Southampton, I think, wasn't it? And he just slipped into the team perfectly and scored a few belters and just really marshalled in front of your defence. And I think you missed him. I don't think Eric Dyer's anywhere near the level Wanyama is when he's fully fit.
Defensive role, and Eric Dyer is almost ever present in Pochettino's lineups, and because he's got that ability to be able to play wherever really, and centre back. Can route. He's a good player, but I'm not sure he's ever going to be a great player. He has a few mistakes in his locker. I think I don't really trust him at centre back, especially because there's an instance last year against you, I think it was, and just turned off and then one goal and we lost the match. And so I'm happy with him keeping him in the squad. He's a good player, and I think he may develop into a better player. But whether he will be a player that you kind of hope he will be, he'll always be a little bit step down from that.
Yeah.
And that kind of central midfield role, we'll obviously still have Mr. Dembele. I think he needs to be replaced. There's a kind of vacant position there who we signed to cover that we've spoken about. And then the other side is Harry Winks. So, Harry Winks, if fit, he'd have been on a plane to Russia, bossed it against Real Madrid. It's just that whether you can fully trust him to be a Dembele replacement with that kind of injury history, because another youth player with Joshua Onoma. So I think you do need to sign that world-class central midfielder. That is where you've got two massive signings you've got to make here. I think you've got to make a big statement centre midfield, and you've got to do that forward winger, that kind of those two signings this year. So we do have cover there, but we need that world-class central midfielder.
Okay.
The bulk of it attacking midfielders. So we obviously have Christian Eriksen, we have Eric Lamela, we have Dele Alli, we have Lucas Moura, we have Heung-min Son.
A plethora of attacking talent, that is.
Yeah,
that list of names.
you start with Dele Alli, Christian Eriksen, and maybe it's kind of. I think Pochettino would start with Eric Lamela because he loves him that much.
Surely you got to start Son after the season he's just had.
He's going to be away at the Asia Games, so I think Eric Lamela is going to get that start anyway. And if he plays well, he'll continue. Assuming Son was a kind of impact player and did very well, and then brought himself into the side, but by pure kind of fortune, he's not going to be able to be at the start of the season. Eric Lamela will have that. Okay. But then, so you kind of have Eric Lamela on the right, Eriksen on the left, Dele Alli through the middle. If you're playing that kind of 4-2-3-1, or Dele Alli on the left, Eriksen in the middle, they can kind of flow. All of them can kind of flow around really. So then they're your first three. Then behind that, you've got Lucas Moura, you've got Heung-min Son. That's why I want to sign that extra player.
Yeah,
maybe Jack Grealish will come in and be that, but is that Wilfried Zaha player is where you bring him in, because Wilfried Zaha last season played up front for
Palace,
Crystal Palace. He, instead of Kane for some games maybe, or instead of him up front and Harry Kane drops deeper, he just gives you that more physical presence, that more mobile presence than Llorente. He also gives you an option on the wing. Son's filled in instead of Kane sometimes, but isn't a physical presence. They're similar. They can play on the wing and play up front. I think he is needed, and hopefully we follow through that transfer deal.
Yeah, well, I think would you buy a shirt with Zaha's name on the back if it finally happened?
Only ever once have I had a Spurs shirt with a player's name on the back, and that was my first ever Spurs shirt, which had Klinsmann 18 on the back.
Oh,
I've never dabbled with names on the back since, and
no, neither. I don't think I have.
No, I think I'd have to go Harry Kane on the back if I was to get.
Yeah.
Because you know it's going to be good for a few years.
Yeah, that's true. So, yeah, that's very true.
But I think it would sell quite well, that Zaha shirt. But yeah, we've got lots of millions I want us to spend before the transfer window shuts on a few players, but also lots of millions to potentially recoup on a number of players to go out. So I think it'll be a busy 10 days for Spurs.
Okay, yeah, interesting. Very, very interesting. So is there anything else you want to cover on your beloved Spurs before I ask you a question?
I think that is it. I think I'm a little bit more hopeful than you, but
yeah, I'm very despondent and negative about the season. So
yeah.
So, question then for you: we've done all of the top six. Who has had the best transfer window out of the top six?
Liverpool have had the best one for me.
Yeah,
because the players they've signed have all been upgrading on positions that they needed to upgrade. Especially, the keeper alone is worth a matter of many a points if he is what everybody hopes him to be. So I think I've had addressed some issues, but I think Liverpool have just addressed them with pure quality. So I think they can be the happiest so far.
I think Liverpool have taken the biggest strides forward, as it were. Like if you're going to say to try and close the gap on Man City, Arsenal have had a good transfer window. In my eyes, it's just there's quite a lot of unknowns, and that's what we covered in the last episode, in the last podcast. But I think, it's just all a bit. Everybody else has just sort of been very slow and very World Cup affected. It seems in the likes of Man United, Man City, Spurs, and Chelsea. They seem to have all been affected by the World Cup, and they were waiting to see what happened after the World Cup. So it's it's going to be a very interesting last 10, 11 days of the transfer window. So. We'll have to keep our eyes peeled and see what's going on, really.
Outside top six, I'd say that West Ham have probably had one of the best transfer windows as well.
Potentially, because you got to remember last season, a lot of people said Everton had one of the best transfer windows, and that didn't work out very well.
With this, I think they've actually had some semblance of organisation and structure to their purchases, and they've upgraded on goalkeeper, they've upgraded on right back, they've signed kind of wide players or attacking midfield players who can provide. And so I think, as far as a West Ham fan, I'd also be quite positive so far.
Okay, interesting, very interesting. They have had a good transfer window. So that wraps up the top six for transfers, and we've actually been talking for a lot longer than we realised we would be. We love chatting about transfer windows, don't we, Josh? We absolutely love it. It's normally the hot topic when we're together back in England as well was always transfer windows. So we're gonna have to actually end this episode earlier than we thought, and we'll be back next week for a season, like our predictions and the season preview that we think might happen, and then we'll have a review of the whole transfer window, looking at all the clubs, including the promoted clubs, in that next episode as well. But before we go, we do have to do the thing that's in every single episode, and that is the wiki files. So Josh, I'm sending you over your player. If you can talk us through what you see.
Right, I see a interesting youth career. They have torn apart club rivalries, and they started at Manchester United and then went to Liverpool.
That's got to be pretty unique.
Yeah, did United go, no, we don't want you, you're too small, as everyone always seems to say, and Liverpool snapped him up, or did Liverpool poach him and it's caused disruption? Don't know. But then he went on to an inauspicious career at Liverpool, had a 3-year career, 4-year career, had an annual appearance, so no goals, 3 appearances. Then he went on to loan to Southampton and Bolton. Oh. So my initial thought right then was, I remember this player playing for Bolton, and it was Jay Spearing.
Yeah.
Doesn't work, does it?
Wasn't he meant to be the next Jamie Carragher, Jay Spearing?
Yeah, was just ugly and just hard-working. Yeah. Okay, so then he actually signs permanently for Newcastle.
Yeah.
And goals. So he's getting a few goals, just a little bit less than 1 in 10. Maybe a defender, maybe a centre midfielder. For 62 games, 5 goals. Again, kind of around the 1 in 10. Loaned to Fulham. Nothing much going on there. Okay, now goes to Blackburn for 40 games, 1 goal. But then what we see is a beauty of a Wikipedia, a question mark.
Yeah.
Athletic. Wherever Oaken Gates Athletic are.
I don't even know where they are. Yeah. I'll try.
Now
and
he's
find
currently
out
playing at. That's really probably going to decide of me. I'm gonna as soon as I know where they are, I'll get it. It's just simple. But now he's at Mitra Kirkar. Again, in my head, they're going to be around where you are, Dave. They're going to be
right,
kind of that Asian area.
Where do you think Oaken Gates Athletic play their football?
The US.
No, they play in Telford in the United Kingdom. So, just to let you know, he went from Blackburn Rovers. He dropped from Blackburn Rovers to go and play in the Shropshire Premier League Premier Division.
Kirkar, can you enlighten me on Mitra Kirkar?
I will just find out for you. You keep having a little think and a guess. Do you want
so I'm working out. So debut at 20 in 2005. We're now 13 years on, so 33. Maybe 33, yeah. 35. Okay, now players who spring to mind had a shitty Liverpool career. Castle. So he's not a forward. I mean, he could be a forward. He's had that bad a career. He might be a forward.
Mitra Kukar, they do play out near me. They play in the Indonesian Football League.
Oh my goodness!
And he's still playing out there for him.
With Indonesia, he's still playing out there for him. So in my head, it's that like they're not even going to be Scouser. They're probably going to be a Manc. And so in my head, I had this sort of the Neil Mellors, Jay Spearings, the kind of those kind of youth players.
Do you want to know a bit of info?
Yes, I know about info. Go, shoot, hit me.
What do you want? Position or international career?
If they have an international career, it'll be mind-blowing. It's only ever going to be under 21 Scottish is what I'm going to guess at. No,
I've just sent it to you. It's not even that.
Under 16s for England. Right, brilliant. I'll have his position as well then, because I've phoned my friend and I've used 50-50. Come on.
Midfielder.
Hit me. In Nora's sake. Cool.
I would narrow it down to a central midfielder, but on Wikipedia he's listed as midfielder.
Premier League time come in. Is it Newcastle years?
He played in the Premier League for Newcastle. Obviously, the three appearances at Liverpool and Reading were all he was in the Premier League for all of those. at one time or another, those clubs were all in the Premier League when he played for them.
I feel really bad about it. So this is my bread and butter. This should be. We've implemented the ride-out ruling. We've got the Kana rule. This should be win after win after win. I'm ashamed. Can you give me another clue?
Can I give you another clue? I mean, let me think. Let me go back to his Wikipedia page and see if there's a nugget of information that I can give to you.
Have you got any Premier League memories of this guy? Have you got?
Yes,
he did this once.
Oh, like a standout memory? I'm pretty sure I remember him getting sent off for something very, very stupid. But I'm just gonna see what they say. So he moved. Newcastle bought him for $2.5 million. Yes, this is it. This player received a late red card for being sent off in a home loss to Hull City following a cynical hack at Craig Fagan, and it later revealed he had broken Fagan's leg. That's why I remember him getting sent off, because Craig Fagan was running through and this player literally just did a swipe kick and just got sent off straight red for it, and it was absolutely horrendous. That's one of the main things I do remember. I just had to read it and refresh my memory. And he signed for Reading on a free transfer under Brian McDermott on the year they got promoted to the Premier League.
And I know I'm going to know him, and I'm going to have to give up.
You're going to have to give up, are you? Oh, interestingly enough, the time at Bolton Wanderers is also in the Premier League. I didn't realise that, but it was. It is the one and only Danny Guthrie.
Guthrie, you are so average, but well done for going out, following in your footsteps, going out to Asia, trans English Asian. Can you keep an eye on his career in case he does something stellar out in Indonesia, please? I mean, you were in Indonesia just yesterday. You bump into him?
I didn't bump into him. He wasn't on the same golf course as me out in Indonesia. Or he might have been, but I probably wouldn't have recognised his face. So. Yeah, but there you go, Danny Guthrie. So there's another one
done, Dave.
For you. Thank you very much. You've got to get a belter ready for next week now. That's what you've got to compete with. I mean, we're at that level.
I hope Liverpool fans would get him, but if anyone got him, let us know, because I find that a little bit difficult.
Yeah, that was. I said it's a very eclectic career. It's very interesting. So. There we go. That'll be the end of the podcast.
Add to the list, that is.
Yeah,
sorry, Dave.
It's the end of the podcast, and it's another one to add to the list of players that were ungettable in the wiki files. But as ever, Josh, do you have your fun fact of the day ready?
Fun fact ready. And
let's go for it.
There's a lot of talk about how good a Champions League player that Ronaldo has been. And I looked, and in his last 5 seasons, he scored 70 Champions League goals.
In 5 seasons. Bloody hell.
In 5 seasons, right? That, I mean, is how he worded this. That would put him 4th on the list of all-time Champions League goal scorers.
Yeah.
3rd on the list, because he's already number 1, so if you discount him or not. But the more amazing thing, that would put him just 1 behind Raul's total Champions League goals. Wow. And Danny Carvajal spoke out this week how Raul's like Real Madrid's greatest ever player. Come on, mate. In 5 years.
Yeah. That's incredible.
He's been a top scorer in the last 6 Champions League campaigns.
Yeah, ridiculous. He's so good. He is so good. Do you reckon he'll do well at Juventus while we're chatting about him?
Yeah, and I don't know if I mentioned it previously, but he's hopefully going to do something I've always dreamt of a player doing. I've always wanted a player to be the top scorer in England, the top scorer in Spain, and also be a top scorer in Italy. And I can't think of anyone who's done it.
What about Germany? What about the Bundesliga? What are you leaving them out for?
Because when I originally came up with this dream, they were kind of the 3 major leagues.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, who's ever come close to doing that? There's probably a couple players. I mean, Higuain's probably maybe done Spain and Italy. Alexis Sanchez has probably scored a good number of goals each season in 3, because I don't know we had his Udinese, his Barcelona, and his obviously Arsenal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Zlatan.
Yeah.
Barcelona, Inter, Man United. But he was nowhere near top goal scorer, was he? So interesting.
He might be able to do it. He might be able to. Ruben Nistelrooy would have done England and maybe Spain.
Yeah, for Madrid. Yeah, true. No one's done all 3 that we can think of. If you do think of someone, let us know down below. But thank you very much, Josh. That's a very good fact on Cristiano Ronaldo. I love your fun facts because I don't hear them before the episode. So They're very good for me to hear as well. But we will leave it there. Thank you very much for listening. Tune in next week where we'll be doing our season predictions, and then you can laugh at us when we predict that Man United will get relegated. But no, tune in next week. We'll go through some predictions. We'd love to hear what your predictions are for the league as well. And we'll go through a bit of a review of all the other transfers that have happened and have a look at the promoted clubs and who we think is going to go down. So Josh, thank you very much again for today, mate. Please say farewell.
Well, everybody, pleasure as always.
Thank you very much. And Josh is right. It's been a pleasure. But for now, we're out. Cheers.